In this video, I'm going to share with you 10 lessons that I have learned with my photography over the last few years. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm Rivaldo, a travel photographer based in Wales, and in this video I'm going to cover some of the mistakes that I have learned with my photography over the last few years. My hope with this video is that you can take away some of the learnings that I have had and speed up your hobby or your career as a photographer. So let's get right into it. Number one was invest in trips, not in photography gear. In my initial stages of taking photographs, I used to watch a bunch of YouTubers talk about this camera and another camera and another camera, and then that used to always suck me into thinking that, okay, in order to take better photographs, you always needed the new gear, the latest and the greatest gear, and that sort of thing. But I only realized after a few years of doing photography that it wasn't so much about the gear, but it was more so about learning and investing in yourself, and also about traveling and putting yourselves in the right position so that you can make better photographs. So my advice for you in this would be that save some of the money that you would have otherwise spent on new gear and just go around looking for trips to make, and then go and enjoy and make memories traveling around and taking photographs in those locations. Another thing is that when you purchase camera gear, it is always advisable to purchase second-hand gear from reputable sites or from eBay or that sort of thing, where you can obtain camera gear at a lesser price as compared to purchasing them brand new. Over the last few years, I've realized that a lot of people who end up selling their gear usually purchase it with the hopes of using it, but they never end up using it, so they end up just selling it off. This helps you save a little bit of money when purchasing camera gear that you think you would require. Lesson number 2 is document your life. Keep snapping away. The thing is that a lot of amateur photographers end up getting sucked into a lot of different settings. They are unable to use their camera properly, and they feel very rigid in their thinking that they got to use this aperture and this setting and this ISO and that sort of thing. My whole solution to this is basically just use the camera in aperture priority or in automatic mode. Keep snapping pictures away just like you would do with your camera. So in the instance that you are traveling, just pick up your camera and then just keep snapping away at whatever you find interesting. Over time, you can sort of improve and increase the way you take pictures by using different settings on your camera and then gaining more proficiency in the camera body that you are using. Lesson number 3 is search for good lighting. Lighting plays a key role in all photographs. Without light, you would not have a photograph. So especially in travel photography, the sun is usually a source of light. So look for lighting which is like closer to golden hour or blue hour. These generally help give your photographs much better lighting without you having to do much editing in the later stages. Lesson number 4 is to buy a good looking camera, or buy a camera that is small and easy to use, something which is compact, which you would carry with you everywhere you go. The reason for this is because you would be able to carry your camera everywhere you go, and you would not miss some of the shots that you have otherwise missed. Having a massive camera with multiple lenses doesn't really make you feel like taking your camera everywhere you go, especially if you are taking photographs in a not so safe area at night or that sort of thing. Lesson number 5 is to shoot different perspectives. So when you are taking photographs, basically try and take a picture from a high position, try and take a picture from a lower position. If you have a camera with a tilt screen, try and get different angles and different views, because you would basically get pictures which look different from other photographers. This is something that I did not know when I initially started out, and I would basically take photographs from the same eye level, and then all my photographs basically had a similar sort of composition, which kind of didn't give me any joy in looking back at my photographs. This is something I learned over trial and error. So basically you need to work on your composition, try and shoot between objects, try and shoot into the light, away from the light, from hip, from your eye level, a bit lower, and then you get different angle of views of the same view that you are looking at with your physical eyes. Another option is to basically take a photo at 3 different levels. So basically one with a normal view, another view which is cropped in a little bit, and another one which is cropped in a bit more. So you get 3 different photographs from a single photo. Lesson number 6 is invest in learning. There's a lot of free content out there on YouTube and some paid material from different photographers which you can invest to improve your photography. What usually ends up happening is you consume a lot of information and then you don't really go out to take photographs. My approach to this is basically learn a bit and then use the information that you have, go out in the real world and practice taking pictures, come back and then find solutions as to how you can improve, and then reiterate the process by learning again. In this way, you are actively using things that you have learned, and then you go out and practice them. You come back and then you try and make sure, okay, these are the places I need to improve for next time, and these are the places I've done well. Journaling through this process helps as well, so this is something I would recommend. Lesson number 7 is to follow photographers who inspire you only. I used to follow a bunch of different photographers ranging from portraiture, from landscape, to travel, to street, to architecture, to abstract, and this would generally have a very confusing effect on my photography. What I would say is basically follow photographers who are in the niche of photography that you are trying, or just in and around that niche. So basically, if you like doing travel and street, try and follow photographers with travel and street and who have a similar editing style, so basically you kind of can incorporate that into your own work. If you keep following photographers from very different niches, you end up having different styles and different composition and different colors and different this and that, and then you kind of have a very confusing effect on your own result, because at the end of the day, all that you create is basically a reflection of the things you consume. So in this way, you basically narrow your search down to a few photographers that genuinely inspire you, and then try and take that and then put that back into your own work. Lesson number 8 is basically learning about composition. This is a point that I have iterated earlier in the video, but basically shoot from different angles, from the hip down, from your eye level. Try and get multiple views by walking in and out of the scene. Try and shoot through objects, because when you have different composition and different views of the same place that you are at, you get multiple different photographs, and then you can figure out, okay, these are the ones that I like and these are the ones I do not like. For example, on a camera like the Fujifilm X106, you have a 23mm lens, which is basically lens with 40 megapixel sensor. So basically you can take multiple pictures and then crop into the picture and retain most of the quality. So this is something that I would recommend having a go at, because you would learn a lot more about different photographs that you can take. Lesson 9 is to share your work online. The reason for this is because when you start sharing your work online, you sort of get feedback from different people showing you that, okay, your work is good, and then this positive reinforcement helps you basically go out and take pictures and then keep repeating the process. A lot of times, if you end up taking a bunch of photographs and then you haven't really shared your work, you don't really feel the need to go out and keep taking pictures, and then you sort of lose the motivation because there is no positive reinforcement on your hobby or your career. But lesson number 10 is to do this for a long time. The reason I say this is because a lot of times we end up taking pictures which just last for a couple of weeks, a couple of months, and then it kind of goes away, and then we don't ever pick up a camera until the next trip. If you do this for a long time, and you do this quite a lot during the year, you end up having quite a lot of photographs collected through the year, and then this becomes a massive portfolio of images which can be curated into a large body of work. And then this is something that can have a long-lasting effect on your photography, because you have created something meaningful and something to look forward to. Usually what ends up happening is photographs are basically posted on Instagram, on social media and that sort of thing, and they are forgotten. But if you keep going for a long time and then you end up having a large collection of work, this can be created into a zine or that sort of thing, and then this basically motivates you to keep going. If you have enjoyed this video, please give me a like and have a look at my Instagram and my threads for a lot more photography content.